Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And today we're talking as we walk through the park here in Swansea, Illinois. It is a chilly one. It's been chilly the last couple of days, but as we take a walk here, I would like to discuss the reason I believe that the market that we're seeing right now in gold and silver, it's going to continue higher. Now, I've been bullish on gold and silver. I've never been somebody, though, to sit here and tell you to invest all your money into gold and silver, because if you do that, then, well, you're not diversified. You should have some level of diversification. Even Warren Buffett, who doesn't really like diversification, says 3 companies, 3 decisions in your portfolio. But the problem is that people view gold and silver as the end-all, be-all resource that's going to protect them in an apocalyptic scenario. And so people get very passionate about gold and silver and why the dollar is about to be destroyed and why you need to own gold and silver immediately to protect yourself. Now, obviously that's a marketing tool for the gold and silver companies. But like, if I'm thinking about gold, my price prediction has been, and you can look back at previous videos. If you're a member, you should get access to all my previous videos, even from like 2019, where you can see where I made videos predicting gold going a lot higher. So you guys can check those out as well. But I've always said 5,000 to 10,000 for the price of gold. And silver, I know that the previous all-time high was I think $46 or $47 per share, and now it's just hit 50 plus. So even with the sell-off, gold has more than doubled from the previous all-time high. It initially broke that in the year 2020. And when that happened, gold essentially was, for the first time, it tested that level, because it hit that level back in 2011 as well. Remember during the 2008 financial crisis, don't forget, for those of you guys who remember, gold and silver hit all-time highs at that point, and then they sold off. But silver hit almost 50 bucks, not quite. Silver has not broken that all-time high. So as we see a sell-off, that's the reason why we're seeing a sell-off. And, the other problem is with gold and silver is that people will not buy the stocks and they'll go heavy on the metals. Now, I think you should do 50-50 at least. Do 50% metals. If you're really into growth and stocks, you're going to have a leveraged bet. And you can also get dividends that will improve your purchasing power potentially if the dollar does take a decline. It's basically geographic diversification with mining stocks and the currencies they're exchanged in. So the other currency might strengthen against the dollar and you might benefit. So that's why I like mining stocks. So, you can hold the physical metal, but mining stocks are really where the bread and butter of your leveraged returns are. Now, if you are one of those people who believes that the apocalyptic scenario of a gold and silver only economy is coming, first of all, if that's the case, I would rather have beans and bullets any day of the week. A good water source perhaps. But gold and silver, I could care less at that point. Now, maybe if there's some type of barter economy, it eventually comes to that. But like, if society really were to break down, because that's what you'll hear, a lot of these arguments, if society ever breaks down, you're going to have your gold and silver. No, if you have gold and silver, somebody might try to rob you, is what might happen. That's the thing. Like, so, carrying around, are you going to carry huge backpacks of heavy gold and silver around along with all your survival supplies? That's a pretty hefty deal, for walking, let's say 30 miles a day, trying to find somewhere to, get a good water source or food. If, everything's polluted, maybe there's a nuclear bomb that went off or something. I know that sounds crazy, guys, but, look, I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomer, but these are some of the apocalyptic nightmares. And like I said, obviously, like back in World War II, there was a lot of stuff going on. Gold was fixed back then, though. That's the interesting thing. And so when you look at how gold used to be fixed at, I think it was 35 bucks an ounce. Initially, it was 20 bucks, then 35. Then it was taken off in 1971. Obviously, since then, we've seen an explosion in asset prices. We've seen an explosion in widening of income inequality over significant periods, and it's had some retracements. It hasn't been a straight line by any means. But on top of that, that's since the dollar's been taken off the gold standard. And there used to be a website called WTF, happened in 1971. I don't know if that one got taken down, but that was a good website to check out as well on gold and silver. But as a price prediction in particular, I would say silver is on track to hit $100 plus by 2030 minimum, even 2027 perhaps. But I would think silver and gold, their time has come for a parabolic run. That's what we're seeing right now. But it's, you could argue it's still the beginning stages, because I've always said gold could hit 10,000 plus. And if that happens, then people who bought at 1,500 have done very well. So that's another thing to consider, is that gold and silver could really be set up here for a significant run into the stratosphere, you could say. But I would also say, think about real estate. Think about this nice home. Somebody who owns that probably owns at least $1 million plus at this point in today's economy. I mean, if they tried to sell that, it's a very nice home, guys. That's a real estate. This home's been around for a long time. This used to be a golf course, actually. This home over here too. It's a lot of nice homes, but these homes keep on going up in value. And that's what I love about real estate too. When you think about buying the physical property, you can buy physical gold and silver, which is a tangible asset, but you can also buy physical real estate, which is a tangible asset. And if you buy it in a good neighborhood, like this is arguably a pretty good neighborhood over here where these homes are. It's called Lake Christine. And basically these homes are in a relatively wealthy neighborhood. And Lake Christine near Belleville, Illinois. But they can really trim those trees though. Those weeds perhaps, get rid of those, might make it look a little bit nicer. But with that being said, there's other assets out there. If you can get a good deal on a property, look at foreclosure auctions, look at all these other alternatives. I'm kind of looking at these things too. I've been looking into foreclosure auctions because you can get amazing deals on foreclosure auctions, which I gotta say, guys, that's a strong point of consideration as well. So thank you all for tuning in to this video. I wanted to talk about my thoughts as gold and silver take a breather. I have mentioned the fact in a previous video that I believe gold and silver could consolidate at, let's say, $5,000 plus range, up to that range, because I think $5,000 is going to be that first psychological level where individuals really start to think about, should I own, gold and silver? Should I sell? Should I hold, kind of thing? Because when you get to 5,000, if you break it, now you're on track to 10,000. So that is the other thing. And if you get to 10,000, that's on track to 15,000. And that right there, my friends, is a 10x from the $1,500 level, which we were trading at, you could say, around 2015, 2016. So with that being said, think about gold and silver stocks. You can look at individual mining stocks. You can look at GDX, GDXJ, the ETFs. You can do options on those ETFs as well if you want to earn income, if you believe that gold and silver might trade sideways for a while, like I kind of believe right now, between the 3,500 and let's say 4,500 range before trying to test 5,000. That's kind of my prediction, but we'll see what happens. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all are doing well out there. God bless, take care. Thank you all for making it to the end of this video. A lot of people don't. So I think like 70% of you guys have dropped off at this point at least. So thank you all. Thank you all the channel members out there for supporting. If you're not a channel member, consider joining as a channel member. And yeah, guys, God bless. We'll see you in the next one. Take care out there and stay safe.